Let's segue into our next conversation as the recent agreement between the federal government and state governors to postpone the implementation of the financial autonomy for local governments continues to stir criticism across Nigeria's political landscape. A 3-month delay was agreed upon due to the concerns about its impact on salary payments and operational viability, according to reports. This means local governments may not see direct payments into their accounts until October this year. What does this delay mean for grassroots politics and Nigerians? Tonight, to help us discuss this and, of course, navigate some of the other issues within the polity is Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media, Temitope Ajayi. Will also be joined a little later virtually by Dr. Baboyo Sule, a political scientist and head of international relations at the Federal University of Kashere in Gombe. But here with us in the studio is the President's Senior Special Assistant on Media, Mr. Temitope Ajayi. Good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us in the program.
Good evening. Good evening.
Right. First things first, before we talk about local government autonomy, there's been, this tension between the federal government and the governors over the past few months, dare I say, in light of everything that is happening in the country right now. And most recently, the governors have had cause to come out and make it public about some of those interventions, whether it's about rice, whether it's about funds, saying that the government has made so many pronouncements, but so far nothing has, materialized yet. Only for the federal government to come out and say, listen, we've spent 573 billion naira in interventions as part of the hardship funds so that these governors across the 36 states of the Federation can actually get the job done and ameliorate the pains of Nigerians. Give us the perspective that you believe Nigerians should hold as far as this conversation is concerned, because somebody is lying and Nigerians are trying to decide who is lying to them at this point.
I want to say that nobody is lying, and I think they are just a misunderstanding of what the issues are. Again, you said there had been tension between the president and the presidency or federal government and the governor. There is no tension. I would rather say there had been cooperation. Of course, when you are dealing with human beings, there are bound to be little misunderstandings here and there. But again, so on the 573 billion that the president mentioned in his last broadcast as payment to the states, I think it's important we set the record straight. One, some other I've read media report that say controversy. There's no controversy except the word the media is saying. It's actually stupid. So what? So it is true that disbursement has been made to states, and the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning actually placed the newspaper advertorial and that gave us the list of benefiting states and how much each state got. But I think we also need to understand the genesis of the fund and how it came about. Of course, COVID happened in 2020. It affected the global economy. Millions of people died around the world. Thousands died in Nigeria, including some of our prominent citizens. People lost their livelihood. Businesses, households were impacted. So different governments around the world came out with different packages and stimulus to be able to stimulate the economy, bring the economy back. You will recall that actually the whole world shut down for almost 2 years. There was total shutdown for the first 6 months or almost a year before partial opening, and the world has not fully recovered from COVID, from the impact of COVID. You have issue around the global supply chain and all of that. So people are still trying to get their lives back. Some businesses will never even come back alive again. So there was this idea of stimulus package, which is funded by $750 million World Bank facility. It actually started under the immediate past administration. Of course, the disbursement started under the current administration, and the money the president talked about in his broadcast, actually the second tranche. So the state have gotten the first tranche sometimes last year around October or November. So I think the issue, the governor of Oyo State, Governor Engineer Sheyi Makinde, that steered the conversation of whether or not they got money or they didn't get money. Actually, they got money, so there's no lie about that. So the debate is whether
it's not just Sheyi Makinde, it's also in Nasarawa State, it's also in Abia State.
So
the Commissioner of Finance in Abia State categorically said that the federal government should come out clear and state categorically what they gave each state.
Yeah.
He said that, there's a lot of misrepresentation.
No, there is no misrepresentation. So the issue they are raising is whether it is a loan, whether it is a grant or a gift or whatever name you call it. Whatever name you call it, the fact is
no, but not whatever name you call it, Mr. Temitope. If it's not a barrow, if it's a pencil,
the fact is,
you can't say whatever name you give it.
The fact is, money has been released. That's what the president said. That so amount of money had been given to state as a livelihood support as part of intervention. Really, the essence of the money is actually a livelihood support to ensure food security, grant to small businesses and households. That is the essence. So within the context of the recent development in the country, the president is right, or was right, to say, this also amount of money has been released to the state. But what the governors you mentioned, especially Oyo State Governor or Abia or Nasarawa, what they are saying is, what they are saying is it is not a grant from federal government.
Right.
That is the point they are making.
Truth.
But the truth of the matter is...
No, which is the truth?
Listen.
But do you agree that what the governors are saying regarding the funds is the truth?
What the president has said is the truth. Money was given to them.
Yeah, but for what? You can't... Okay.
So, and the reason was clear.
So, Mr.
The purpose of the money was clear.
This is what Nigerians are trying to, get, to understand.
Yeah.
Is the president trying to push the blame or trying to antagonize Nigerians against the state governors by making it look like his administration has done its due diligence, has done the needful by giving this over 570 billion naira to the states in the name of intervention?
Yeah, but it's actually intervention.
Okay. The governor of Nasarawa State, who, by the way, is a governor on the platform of the APC, had this to say when he made an appearance on Channels TV. He said he stressed that the World Bank loan received by the state was for infrastructural projects and not to cushion the effects of hardship faced by Nigerians. This is what an APC governor said.
No, that is not totally correct. I'm telling you, go and read. There are a lot of... listen, that is what he said.
Yeah.
That is what he said. I'm telling you, go and read every available literature or report on what that money is meant for. It is called NG Cares. You can just even Google. It is a stimulus package for livelihood support, which is a fallout, a response to COVID-19.
So if to put it clearly and without mincing words, if you have to choose between what the president had to say and what the governors are saying, somebody is not telling Nigerians the truth. Which of the two groups? Because they are talking about the same money from different perspectives.
So now you are a journalist.
Yeah.
Abi, you're a journalist.
Obviously.
I'm not telling you, go after this program.
No, I'm asking you a question. You speak, for the president on some of these issues. The
president said the right thing. And the president was correct when he said the said amount had been given to the state. And the purpose for which it was given is the purpose for which World Bank granted the facility. Livelihood support. It's not for any infrastructure. It's not for road.
Right. So without necessarily saying it, right, because the governor of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi, said the money, quote, the money is tied to certain project. It is almost like a regimental loan from the World Bank. Words of the governor, he said the money is not for rice, it is not for palliatives, it is not for anything in that line.
I've already told you the purpose of the money is livelihood support.
So this is one big misunderstanding as far as you're concerned.
I'm not telling you, go and read, go on your website. There is even a website for the NG Cares. There's a website for it. Just Google it. You will see the purpose. So it's clear, it's livelihood, it's a stimulus package to respond to the fallout of COVID. It's to help families and businesses, small businesses, to get back on their feet for food security, for grants, for small businesses. So within the context of the recent happening in the country, the president was correct to say, we have released this money. Of course, it's a loan, but guaranteed by the federal government. Because what bank will not give any state loan without sovereign guarantee? You understand? You know what is called sovereign guarantee. So what that also means is that...
But they have to pay back.
They will pay back, but the guarantee is, when you guarantee a loan, what does that mean? That if the obligor is unable to pay, the guarantor will pay.
But there is no way the states can default because the federal government is in possession of federal allocations. And we've been here before. The Buhari administration, after giving the bailouts in 2016, has had to deduct some of those federal allocations because
now
the states have to pay back.
Nobody is disputing whether they will pay back or not. The point now is, no state can deny or can say it hasn't got the money. So the issue here is about semantics. Oh, it is not a grant, it is not free, it is a loan. But let's leave that apart. What we are saying is,
let's apart, because
so let's deal with the substance. The substantive issue is...
The truth is substantial, isn't it?
The substantive issue is...
Because Nigerians are now perceiving these governors to have misused the funds.
Nobody...
governors are saying, listen, the funds in the first place was not supposed to buy rice or intervene in
when you say livelihood, livelihood can mean anything within the context of caring for people. That is what the money is meant for.
Including infrastructure.
Livelihood support. It could be very specific.
I'm sure livelihood support doesn't mean building new roads.
Hold on. Yeah. The fund is targeted at three things. Livelihood support, food security. It's clear. Go and read it. Food security. So it could mean food security could mean go and plant hectares of cultivate hectares of land for agricultural produce. It also means buying rice. Then the third component is grant to small businesses and households, which is conditional cash transfer. It's also part of it. So nobody is lying.
Okay, let's segue into the main part of the conversation tonight, which is about local government autonomy. Because Nigerians say that while the presidency or the federal government celebrated that ruling of the Apex Court when it granted financial autonomy for the third tier of government, which for long, I think we all can agree, has been emasculated by the states and need to be freed. Right now, some politics is coming in, and legal luminaries have given their take on this one. It is an aberration for the Supreme Court to rule on a particular issue, and then you have a political or bureaucratic resolution that goes against the directive of the Apex Court. First of all, what is your understanding on this 3-month moratorium and what it means for local governments?
Yeah, you in your prelude, you already stated it. There are issues of ability of this local government to pay salary of their workers, teachers, primary health care workers, that are the responsibility of local government. And if you also know that some of the joint account between the state and local government, most of these obligation of local government, either salary to primary school teacher, to primary health care workers, and other obligations, 5% to traditional institutions, they take it often as first line charge. And if you recall, early 90s, if you're a primary school teacher, no landlord will want to even give you their house, because then I could remember, I was in secondary school in the early 90s. If your husband and wife are primary school teacher, it's like a death sentence, because then they were being owed 12, 24 months, 36 months salary, depending on the state. It was that bad. That was when NUT and Argon, that was when they fought. In fact, I think they were on strike for almost a whole year. So that was, I think from that point, the state and federal government found administrative way of paying teachers directly from the source, after which whatever is remaining, I think they now give it to the local government to run their operation. So I think, again, Supreme Court judgment is the final authority. Everybody will obey. But again, there is history. I think in 2001 or 2, there was this onshore-offshore dichotomy between littoral states and the federal government that went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court ruled that federal government won the case on matter of law. But at the end of the day, Supreme Court advised there could be this is judgment, correct, but there could be political solution. So, and I remember then, Akwa Ibom State, under Governor Victor Atta, if you have to follow that Supreme Court judgment, today, Akwa Ibom State will not be getting any money from 30% derivation. So at the end of the day, President Obasanjo found a way around it, and there was a political solution.
There's precedence for something like this.
Yeah, there's precedent.
But it is an aberration, isn't it?
What I'm telling you is, Supreme Court itself recognizes political solution.
Yeah, but not when it has already delivered its verdict.
And I'm telling you,
a political solution can come.
Hold on. The case I just referenced, the onshore-offshore dichotomy case, Supreme Court ruled on it.
If the law says you're not SSA, there's nothing else we can do outside the law that can make you SSA.
But I've already told you there is a precedent.
Two wrongs don't make a right. If it was wrong in the early 2000s, it's still wrong now.
At the end of the day, you are running a country. You are dealing with people.
Is this a compromise?
Well, I don't think it's a compromise. It's just to find, at the end of the day, people will be affected. Thousands of local government workers will be affected. So why the government, the federal government and the state work around, and local government work around the administrative mechanism for executing the judgment, right. I don't think there's anything wrong, right, as far as I'm concerned.
We have to go, but I have to ask you this question. It requires a yes or no answer. Do you think after 3 months, there will be no more stories about financial autonomy for local governments?
Well, I think the concerned tiers of government will resolve whatever the issues are.
Is that a yes or no? I don't even know how to reach that conclusion. But Mr. Temitope, I would love for us to have continued, but unfortunately, that's all the time we have for now. Perhaps we'll find another time to circle back to this conversation and many other developments.
Okay, I'll always be available.
All right, thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you for stopping by. Been speaking to Temitope Ajayi, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on media on some of these recent developments. That's our show for you tonight on Daily Politics. We appreciate you for taking the time. We'll be back tomorrow, live and exclusive on Trust TV. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Good evening.